let's kick off the conversation with Dr. Muhammad Dahiru, who is the chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, and he's joining me here in the studio. And Honorable Plang, who is an APC senatorial candidate for Plateau Central Senatorial District, will be joining us from the rocky city of Jos in Plateau State. So glad to have you, gentlemen. And I will start with you, Dr. Dahiru here. With Lalong's appointment, a lot of expectations are on his shoulders, and some of the party members want to know the sort of pedigree that Lalong is bringing to this position. I mean, you would have remembered that Rotimi Amechi helped drive the APC presidential campaign in 2015 and then, of course, 2019. So tell us more about how Lalong hopes to make the best use of this opportunity.
As you are aware, Governor Simon Lalong has been in politics for a very long time. He was a speaker before becoming a governor in Plateau State. And as a governor, he had the opportunity to lead Northern Governors Forum, which he has done that with high level of competency and capacity, which he has shown over the period. And also, in the APC, he has been a front runner in all the activities of the APC in the country. So we are not seeing it as a surprise that the APC deem it fit for him to be the DG, because he has the capacity to deliver, he has the competence, and he has the link within the APC, within the Nigerian community, within the Christian and Catholic community, to be able to deliver this ticket for us. And
Honorable Dickett, I just want you to tell us more about Lalong and how a lot of expectations are on his shoulders too. I mean, not just being a governor, but of course he's also a senatorial candidate too, and all of that. How does he intend to combine all of this and deliver the Bola Tinubu and Kashim Shettima ticket?
Yeah. Governor Lalong is someone that personally discovered himself. Way back 1999, out of the blues, from a very humble background, he was elected as a member representing Shandam constituency, which is one of the largest constituency on the plateau. Governor Lalong is the longest serving speaker in the Plateau State House Assembly. If you look at the pedigree of Governor Lalong, you will notice that he is someone who discovered himself from a humble background. You know, one of the most difficult positions to hold is legislative, to head a legislative arm of government. But Lalong has been able to serve as Plateau State Speaker for 2 terms, where it has never existed. The decision to choose Lalong or appoint Lalong as the DG campaign at this very, very moment for APC is one of the best things that have happened to the party. You will know that he has the capacity, he has the personal dream in life to pursue a vision. You will remember at the national convention for the election of the candidature for the presidency, Governor Lalong has to move an opinion that the presidential candidate for APC must come from the south. He is a man of equity, fair play, fair share in governmental positions. I feel that the decision by APC to appoint someone from the central zone as the DG for the campaign is a wise choice. And you will all know that the central zone of Plateau, particularly the Middle Belt, the political headquarters is on the Plateau. And Governor Lalong is a pioneer governor of the APC. He is the first ever to defeat an incumbent government. So for me, his choice as DG First of all, the location of where the DG is coming from is excellent. Secondly, the man Lalong is someone that has a vision, someone who has strength in his dreams, and someone who has built a lot of links within the state and outside the state. You remember when Lalong was speaker, there was every effort by the government then to remove him, to recall him. It never worked. Lalong had an opportunity, probably he was impeached by less than 2/3. Lalong was also, he was impeached by less than 2/3. He had an opportunity of being a governor, but he rejected it because he wants to be governor through a very due process. So for me, Lalong has made a name for himself. Lalong's linkages and appearance as a governor of APC gives him an opportunity to give the best for the party. I believe, we believe in him as a people, don't mind minority voices. We believe in him, we believe in his dream, we believe in his linkages, even as chairman of the Northern Governors Forum.
Yeah, sorry to just interrupt here. You will know that this is a big kettle of fish, and a lot of Nigerians will say that he doesn't have national experience so much, apart from maybe just being the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum. There's a lot of expectation. What is Lalong's knowledge of the nation, and how will he be able to galvanize people away from the north to ensure that this Tinubu-Shettima ticket comes to fruition quickly?
The appearance of Lalong as the chairman of the Northern State Governors, I want to assure you that this has exposed him in no small measure. It has brought a lot of connectivity between him and Nigerians beyond Plateau State. And I want to tell you that he has hold on this position with a lot of progressive moves. That's why his opinions have been carried by the president. You remember at very difficult moments of making decisions, particularly for the APC, Lalong brought an idea that all other contestants, that we must shift the interest of APC presidential candidate to the south, and it worked. You will always know that a chairman of Northern Governors Forum and a lawyer by background and a legislator by background, 8 years. I want to assure you that his national exposures are huge. Secondly,
okay. Just hold on there. I'll just ask you to hold on. We need to go on this short break. When we come back, you continue with the conversation. Stay with us. You're still watching the Arise interview. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion on Governor Simon Lalong's appointment as the Director General of the APC Presidential Election Campaign Council. Stay with us. Welcome back from the break. I'm Somna Sambo, and of course we're still discussing the issues of Governor Simon Lalong's appointment as the Director General of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. And of course I have with me Dr. Dahiru Mohammed here, who is an APC chieftain, and then of course he chairs one of the presidential committees on technology transfer. And we also have joining us from Jos, Honorable Dikket Plang, who is a senatorial candidate, APC senatorial candidate from Plateau Central. And of course, still staying with us, Honorable Dikket, you were talking about the issue of Governor Lalong's national exposure. What exactly would Governor Lalong do differently? Because there have been accusations that he's unable to manage the challenges of diversity in Plateau State, and if he's not been able to manage it, and then you've had the security issues here and there, that may also affect the way he will handle this campaign.
I want to assure you that it is the coming of Lalong that the level of security in the state has improved in no small measure. And if you look at the appointments of Lalong in his cabinet, Lalong has run a government that is more inclusive than ever. Then you were asking me a question of a possibility of Lalong being the DG and also a a senatorial candidate and also a governor. I would like to assure you that Lalong has a very huge structure to sustain governance. He has capable deputy governor, capable secretary to the government, capable party leadership, capable local government chairman, and also it is during Lalong's era that the opposition could not even get a councillorship seat on the plateau as a result of technicalities. I want to assure you that the huge structure of Lalong in the state can sustain winning for APC. Then I also want you to know that Lalong has served in several national committees set by the federal government. You will recall that one time he was chairman of the campaign committee of one of the state governors' election in the West. I believe that his interaction, his representations, and his appearance at very vital committees, both committees of party, committees of government, government panels, I want to assure you that Governor Lalong has sufficient exposure. He has the capacity. He has the capacity.
All right.
He has the capacity of unifying us, unifying our diversity.
All right, I'll ask you to hold on here, and now while I come back here to the studio to you, Dr. Dahiru, I pose the same question to you. I mean, how would Lalong be managing his senatorial ambition and, of course, running Tinubu's campaign also? I mean, some would say that that's too much for him to handle.
No, it is not too much for the capacity of Lalong as we know him, because he is somebody that believes in building structures. And he has built structures at all levels in Plateau State. The governors of Plateau State will not suffer because we have capable hands that are running the affairs of the state. There are people he has mentored at various levels, commissioner level, local government level, head of parastatal level, and they are running the state like it has never been run before. This is the first time in Plateau State that we have a government that is inclusive. The way Lalong has managed the interreligious affairs of Plateau State is what we need at the national level, and that is what he will bring.
And the controversial issue of him being a filler for the Christian faith in the APC as it stands right now, does it not look like a quota system appointment to him? We had earlier learned that he was trying to get the position of vice presidential candidate and he didn't get it, and now he's been able to get this. Is it more of filling a quota, or it's more about competence? Lalong is bringing some form of competence and not just representing the Christian faith in the Tinubu presidential campaign.
I don't think you will be doing justice to say Lalong has campaigned to be the vice presidential candidate. He has not.
Well, I mean, the fillers were everywhere during the preparations for that.
It is on record that he has never aspired to be the vice president of Nigeria. What he aspired to be is to be a senator. He went uncontested and won the primaries. It is people like us that believe in him that were pushing the agenda of him to become the vice president of Nigeria, not because he is just a Christian, but because of his capacity. I don't want us to go into the issue of religion and division, because we should think more on how to unite the country, how to face the problem that is facing us as a country, and how we can...
You can't wish that away, I mean, because it's part of the calculations, and of course you must have heard what Nigerians are saying over the Muslim ticket.
You see, one thing that you fail to understand is that we have Muslim and Christians in all the political parties in Nigeria. You cannot tell me today that because there is a Muslim ticket in APC, we don't have Christians supporters in APC. It's not true. Or you cannot tell me that because Labour Party doesn't have Muslim supporters. No. So we should, there are choices for Nigerians to make. If you are not comfortable with the Muslim ticket, there are other parties that you can go to. But believe you me, the issues we're having now in Nigeria supersede our religious interests, supersede our tribal interests. It is a collective issue that we must all come together and face, and see how we can take this country forward, and see how we can bring in the best policies, bring in the best brains, bring in people that have capacity, irrespective of religion or tribal sentiment, to see how we can move this country forward. We have been stuck with these tribal and religious issues for a very long time, and it has taken us nowhere. I think it is time as a country that we unite. People, somebody like me, I campaign for Lalong, I campaign for, I'm a Muslim, I campaigned for a Christian vice president in the APC when the issues were on. But the fact that the calculation of the party favors a Muslim ticket, that doesn't mean that what we intend to deliver as a party come 2023 has changed. And it is not going to be delivered just to Muslims or just to Christians or just to people of one ethnic or this or another, but for the whole Nigerians. So I think we should come back to the issues and let all the political parties bring their programs on ground. Let us look at it as Nigerians. Who are those people that have the capacity to move this country forward? Who are those people that have the best manifesto, the best policies? Come and talk to Nigerians. When the campaign starts by September, Nigerians will see what the APC has. Nigeria will see what this candidate have, and then the choice will be there.
Sorry to just interject there. A lot of Nigerians say that you in the APC will have a tough time selling your programs to a lot of citizens again because of what we are seeing across the country in terms of insecurity. The economy is going down and all of that. I mean, just I was reading that Nigeria's foreign reserves have depleted to $15 billion all the way from about 35, 36. How do you intend to craft messages in such a way that Nigerians will believe? I mean, that's why people say Lalong has a huge deal of challenges ahead of him.
See, when you are talking about the economy, Nigeria does not operate in isolation. There is a global economic problem, which Nigeria is part of the global system. As of today, studies have shown that we have so many millionaires living in the United Kingdom like it has never happened. Their economy is having issues. Go to Heathrow now and see the issues they're having. Go to, so it's everywhere. So when people now try to isolate Nigeria as the only country that is having economic issues, they are just being mischievous. They are just being mischievous. What has this government done? We inherited an economy that has been fractured, that needs a lot of resources to develop. And when we came in, our resources, because of our reliance on oil and the price of crude oil that has gone down, we didn't have enough resources to do what we promised to do. But even as at that, look at the infrastructure development we have in this government. It has never happened. Since from 1999 to date, no government has been able to achieve the kind of infrastructure development that this...
well, the PDP would dispute that with you.
It's not about disputation, it's about facts.
And you've taken more loans than any government has done.
It's about facts.
But I mean, the loans are there that you have taken to do all of that.
You see, when the loan issue, maybe we'll discuss later. When you talk about loans, it is not, what do you use the loan for? We have a government that did not take loan, that we're earning so much money, but what did they have to show for? But if you say we have taken loan, we will show you what we use the loan for. And Nigeria, like people are saying, Nigeria is not broke. As of now, we are even having countries that are still coming with resources to invest in Nigeria because of the structures that is there. And the issue of insecurity has been a challenge, not just to Nigeria, but to all our neighbors because of what has happened in Libya. But the government is trying to curtail it, and the next government that will come will upscale on the strategy and bring in new ways of addressing these issues. So I don't think that Nigerians will say that APC has not done anything. Well,
that's just what they seem to be saying, because I mean, even the opposition is very hard. Although that it's never been so bad that
when it comes, we can mention infrastructure we have put on the ground. Let them come and mention what they have done. The time will come and we'll put it on the table for all Nigerians to see.
All right, we'll just go on this short break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. You're still watching the Arise interview. We'll now go on this short break, and when we return, we'll continue the conversation with Dr. Muhammad Dahiru, who is the chairman of the Presidential Implementation Committee on Technology Transfer, and of course, an APC chieftain. And then, of course, we have Honorable Dahiru Plang, who's the APC senatorial candidate in Plateau Central. Joining us from Jos, we'll be taking a look at Governor Simon Lalong's appointment as the DG of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Rising TV, where we speak to the newsmakers as well as ordinary people doing extraordinary things around the world and featuring the voices at the heart of the conversations. I'm Somna Sambo. And of course, we have been talking about the appointment of Governor Simon Lalong as the Director General of the APC Presidential Campaign Council that will help to drive the calls for votes for the Tinubu Shetima ticket of the party. And of course, I still have with me here Dr. Mohammed Dahiru, who is the chairman of the Presidential Implementation Committee on Technology Transfer and of course a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress. Thank you for still being with us. I want to ask you this. You must have seen some northern minority groups going around in the APC and saying that they are unhappy that there was no Christian vice presidential candidate given to them. People like Babachir Lawal, and then of course Yakubu Dogara, and then of course, I mean, so many of them. You come from the Northeast, and then of course you've played your politics more in Plateau State. Tell us how you feel about these groups who used to be very supportive. These individuals used to be very close friends of Tinubu, then going around and saying that, look, it looks like this Muslim ticket thing will make Tinubu not emerge victorious.
You see, one good thing with our constitution is that it allows everybody to air his own opinion, and you have the right to air your views, to air your grievances. But if you are talking about a minority group, is it everybody that has agreed to their position? As we are talking now, it is Lalong is a minority from North Central, who is appointed as the DG of the campaign. The person you just finished speaking to, the senatorial candidate, who has told you about the support. And if you look at how Lalong was received yesterday at the airport by the people of the state jubilating, you will know that when some people are talking and say we the minority, they are talking of their own interest, not of the generality of the minority Christian community in the northern Nigeria. And in the north we are one. I don't think there has never been any time that we have a faction called APC minority
Christian leaders and all of that. Because I wanted to ask you that why was Lalong not in that?
Yes,
I saw Lalong, I mean, just arriving just yesterday, if the pictures can be shown, with a lot of supporters of the governor. And I was like, we had thought that APC is not so it's not so popular in Plateau State any longer because of the issues.
Everybody is an institution that represent an interest group, and they have their right to air their grievances, and I'm sure the party at the right time would reach out to them and see how they can bring them back on board, because these are our family members. We don't go out to fight. We'll bring them back on board, and they are part of the people that have brought in Tinubu, and it has not changed.
And don't you think there's a lot of pressure on Governor Lalong now to want to see how he can woo Yakubu Dogara and Babachir Lawal back? How is he going to do that? Isn't it a tough task? I mean, because he also has to prove to Tinubu, Buhari, and of course Abdullah Adamu that he has the capacity to galvanize people despite their dissent.
He will do it. He has the capacity to do that. He has done that before, and he's going to do that again. Like I told you, when he came to Plateau State, the state was fractured along religious and ethnic lines, and he has been able to galvanize everybody, both the Muslim religious leaders, the Christian religious leaders, the elders of all the ethnic communities. He has been able to bring them together, give them sense of belonging, and that's why we have the peace that we are experiencing in just now and the development we are seeing. So he has the capacity to do that. He will do that. He is a humble, highly respectable human being. He is somebody that knows how to bring people together, be able to negotiate whatever it is so that everybody's interest will be taken care of. He will do that, and by the time the campaign starts, you will see what I'm telling you.
Yeah, and I want to ask you the same question I asked Decade earlier on. What sort of national exposure does Simon Lalong bring to this campaign DG position? I mean, a lot of people will say that his politics has been restricted to Plateau State. The only exposure he has is maybe being the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum.
About national exposure, Some people will even argue that Tinubu doesn't have national exposure.
Well, Tinubu was a former senator.
Okay,
he's a non-serving senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
What about the other presidential candidates who have? What national exposure do they have apart from, let's say, the Vice President Atiku Abubakar? So it's not about that. Lalong has been speaker, and in that, when he was speaker, they have a committee of speakers that comprise of all the speakers around the country, and he has been a very influential member in that committee. As a governor, he led the northern governors. He led the northern governors to negotiate, to talk, to canvass support and policies of all the government, not just in the north, but with the other counterparts in the south. So when you there is no, if you call Lalong now, there's nobody that doesn't know his name across the country. He has been in the forefront
because of the position of having been the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum.
And not just the chairman, a very effective vocal chairman. There is no policy of this government that has happened at the national level that Lalong is not involved in. You know, somebody doesn't have to come to the TV and the politicians know, and I'm sure the campaign knows. APC knows what he can do. That is why they gave it to him.
And tell us, how has he been able to survive that, position, being the only Christian governor that's chairing that? I mean, in the midst of several, Muslim governors in the north and all of that.
You see,
in the APC.
You see, his interpersonal relationship is very good. He doesn't see you from the. Face of your religion or your tribe. When you are dealing with Lalong, he sees you from the position of a Nigerian, from the position of a human being, and from the position of what you can deliver. So the issue of, I want us to downplay this issue of religious and tribal sentiments. Lalong is somebody that goes after competence in everything he does. He doesn't see you whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, whether you're from the north, whether you're from the south. He doesn't see you as that. That's the Lalong we know, and that's the Lalong that will champion this campaign, and that's the Lalong that will deliver this mandate come February 2023. And
one key thing is that apart from just being the campaign DG, you also need to use at least some resources of your own to promote the presidential ticket. We could see what Rotimi Amechi did when he was the campaign DG of Buhari in 2015 and of course in 2019. Do we foresee Lalong having those kind of resources to be able to pursue and support the Tinubu presidential campaign ticket?
That when you are the DG, you bring the money for campaign.
But you also have to use monies to prosecute the election.
No. The party prosecute the election. The supporters of the party provide the funding. I don't think it is written anywhere or that as the DG of the campaign, it's your responsibility to use your own money to fund the campaign. No,
but shouldn't you have a say?
No,
because
you are supposed to.
At the end of the day, as DG, when the campaign is over, and if your party emerges winner, you would be seeking certain positions to be given to you, having held that privileged position. That's why Rotimi Amechi, for example, was appointed Minister of Transportation, and of course you had his associates like Dakuku Peter Sar being given a Master DG and some other positions being given to him because not just of the position he held, because of some of the resources he was able to galvanize.
I don't think it would be fair for you to say that it is Rochi Amechi that galvanized the resources for the
not alone, but as DG of the campaign, so has a critical role to play.
I think the Electoral Act is very clear on how you raise your funds, and as a party we are going to stick to that. We are not looking for any individual to come and sponsor our campaign. We'll go to.
Isn't there pressure on Lalong to want to do that? To want to prove that he has a capacity not only to mobilize voters, but to also provide the resources to prosecute the election.
It is about, if it is about resources, everybody knows Lalong is not somebody that is very affluent. It's not somebody that is after material things. If it is about resources, he will not be given the DG, but it is about his capacity to be able to lead a team of campaign organization that will be set up to deliver. It is not about how much he has or who has the biggest pocket to come and lead our campaign. It's not about that. We have structures of raising money based on the Electoral Act. We are going to follow that. He is there to lead according to the Electoral Act, according to the constitution of our party. But we are not asking him to come and bring money. Nobody is asking him to bring money, and nobody is expecting him to go and put money in the, put his hands into the coffers of his state government and bring money for election. No.
Okay, although in the Nigerian parlance, once you're given such a position, so much is expected of you. Yeah. Now tell us about this Tinubu-Shettima ticket. How much of acceptability are you hoping to have with Nigerians on this ticket? Because, I mean, if you hear what the electorate, some people are saying across the country, they are like, Tinubu is too old. Some people are saying that, look, he has health issues. Some people are saying, all sort of things that, the Southwest where he comes from shouldn't have been given the ticket again after Obasanjo had 8 years and then Oshibanjo became vice president for another 8 years. So all of these things may want to count against your candidate.
You see, I don't want us to dwell in the past. He has already emerged as the candidate. PDP have their own candidate. The other parties have their own candidates. It is now the issue of who among them has the capacity to deliver, which team can deliver Nigeria. And the problem we have as a country is that we copied the democracy from the United States. We have all the democratic architecture and all the principle of democracy, but we have not copied the norms, which is what keeps the United States of American democracy intact and makes it grow. And
what are the norms you're talking about?
There are two norms that have kept the United States democracy intact. The norms of mutual toleration and forbearance. When you say mutual toleration, all the political actors see themselves as legitimate rivals, trying to attain the goal of national development. In America, it doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or you are a Democrat. At the end of the day, you see yourself as legitimate rivals. You don't see yourself as enemies.
And especially in the face of this impeachment threat by the
you lawmakers. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about our whole structure. So unless our political players see themselves as legitimate rivals who are in a race to win and deliver the same development that we're all talking about, then we will never get it right. Because when you see yourself as enemies, you don't know when politicking is supposed to stop and governance starts. So your rival can win and you'll be doing everything to bring him down. Not knowing that if you pull him down, you are pulling the whole country down. But if you see yourself as legitimate players, which is part of the norms of the democracy I'm talking to you about, when election is over, you all put your acts together and see how you can deliver the country. That is the level I want to see us reach. The other one is that norm of forbearance, that if you happen to win and you're in a position of authority, you should not use the institutions of government that you are controlling to go after your opponents. That is one of the norms that has kept American democracy intact. But do we have it here? No. Because you don't see yourself as legitimate rivals. So the moment you find yourself in a temporary position of power, holding the authority over those institutions, you start going
and victimizing.
So that is why you see us always fighting. We bring religion sentiment into it. We bring tribal sentiment into it. We bring all sorts of sentiment into it because we have not adopted to those norms. And that is the level we want to take this country to.
Okay, I'll just ask you to hold on while we go on this short break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arise interview, where we speak to the newsmakers as well as ordinary people doing extraordinary things around the world and featuring the voices at the heart of the conversation. Samson Sambo, and of course we'll now touch a little bit on the issues of renewable energy. A committee which is chaired by our guest here, President Muhammadu Buhari, has declared that the rapid integration of solar energy into the country's power mix will lead to an increase in electricity access to underserved and unserved communities. Receiving a delegation of an American firm, Sun Africa LLC USA, the president commended the interest of the U.S. developer to invest in Nigeria's power sector, pledging that the federal government would remain committed to collaborating with the private sector in improving energy access, creating jobs and industrial development. And of course, I still have in the studio with me here Dr. Muhammadu Dahiru, who is the chairman of the Presidential Implementation Committee on Technology Transfer, as we discuss issues of political party. He is an APC member also. We are also touching on the issues of technology transfer now. Tell us about this renewed interest about technology transfer. We've seen this U.S. company coming to Nigeria to want to invest about $1.something billion US, you said?
$1.8 billion for the pilot run.
Oh, okay, interesting. Tell us more about that.
You see, what President Buhari has asked us to do is to see how we can bring investment into Nigeria that will come with the transfer of technology element to it, so that we can develop our own local capacity in producing things in Nigeria. And part of what you are seeing in the renewable energy sector is the emergence of Sun Africa. It's a US-based company that has the largest consortium of renewable energy, the largest consortium of companies in renewable energy all over the world. And they have come to Africa and were in Angola, where they recently completed the phase program they had in building solar farms to add to the grid in Angola at the cost of about $600 million. And they are continuing with another one of about $2 billion that will scale up to about $7 billion in Angola. And all this is part of the recently launched global initiative for infrastructure on investment of the Biden administration in the United States of America, whereby $600 billion is positioned to invest in infrastructure and investment to be done by US companies outside US, and about $200 billion is earmarked for Africa. And the focus of this program is to see how they can come into Nigeria, where we have never seen an American company come with this kind of proposal before for a very long period of time. We are used to the Chinese companies coming in to bring us loan and companies to do projects here in Nigeria. But what the Americans are bringing is something different. They are not coming here as the Chinese. They are bringing in investment without necessarily burdening our loan portfolio, because they are not asking for any sovereign guarantee, and they are not asking for any payment from budgetary allocation. Rather, from the investment they have put, the project should be able to repay itself back. And they are willing also to transfer technology to us to develop local capacity, to develop local companies that will manage these assets. So it is a very welcome development, and it is happening now. The first pilot run is about $1.8 billion they are willing to bring in through the US Exim Bank, and once it is successful, by the time the next administration starts, we can scale it up to about almost $17 billion.
Okay. The issue of insecurity will come in here. How would this American company ensure that, their investments, don't get swept away by the issues of insecurity? Because if you're building a solar farm and all of that,
you see, we are starting.
It may be a challenge.
When you say the issue of insecurity, one thing that people like us that have traveled a lot seeking for investors to come to Nigeria, they know those areas where they have security challenges, and they know those areas where they can go and invest. So when you say security challenge, it's not the whole country that is security challenged. There are areas that are still good for investment, and this is a narrative that we Nigerians should stop, because it scares away investors. If not because the world is now a global village whereby they can read things online, they can do search for themselves and know. We will be killing ourselves when we talk about investment. You say insecurity is going to, there are people making money, there are foreign companies making money in Nigeria every day. And from their feasibility study, they have already identified areas that they will do this pilot run, and there are areas that don't have security issues. There are some states in Nigeria that are bigger than countries in terms of land mass and population, and those countries are doing well. So if some geographical areas of the country is having issue and you generalize it, you are not being fair to Nigeria, you are not being fair to even the investors that want to come and invest.
Yeah, also tell us about the Czech Republic. I think your committee was in that country to also get investors and all of that. How successful have we had issues of bilateral cooperation?
For the Czech, it has been a very wonderful experience. Presently, we have 3 projects that we have started. The first one is the Delta 2 program, whereby we are trying to see how we can help our SMEs and companies with technology and funding in order to develop their local capacities, and also having partners to join them from the Czech Republic. We have received about 280 companies that have sent in their proposals. Yesterday we just inaugurated the committee, the evaluation committee, like it was done in the Czech Republic, to bring out the best project that we can finance this year. The second project we are doing with the Czechs, which has reached conclusion stage, is on the issue of irrigation. We have gotten approval from Mr. President to run the pilot run of the Irrigation Nigeria project. It is also a PPP approach. We have gotten the land from the selected states for us to run the pilot copy, after which we can now upscale it to cover a large portion of the irrigable lands we have in the country, so that it can help us attain the food security that we hope. Because if you don't farm all year round, there is no way you can be able to handle the issue
and
of
I just hope you're preparing for transition also, because if you're having a new government in place so that these investors don't get swept away by the change of government, what are the sort of guarantees you are giving to investors?
This is the issue we had with the Czech is a bilateral issue that started from the Jonathan administration towards the tail end of the Jonathan administration, 2014. In fact, when we signed, there was this issue that, okay, what about if we have a new government? And as God will have it, we had a new government. And when the Buhari administration came and they looked at the project based on its merits, they did not only support it, they gave us all the necessary approvals that we couldn't get during the Jonathan administration in order to implement it. Every government that comes wants to deliver. And if you want to deliver, you have to put sentiment aside and look at those projects that will help you develop your economy, irrespective of where it is coming from. Because the bottom line is for you to be able to see how we can develop this country.
Okay.
We should be able to put party politics aside the day election, finish, and to start governance. And once you start governance, you don't look at which party this person comes from. Like I told you, what the Americans do in order to develop their economy and democracy, we have to be able to do that.
Okay. Most thank you so much, Dr. Dahiru is the chairman of the Presidential Implementation Committee on Technology Transfer. And we had to have this last session, of course, on the issues of governance. But earlier on, we were discussing the issues of Governor Simon Lalong's emergence as the Director General of the Tinubu Shetima Presidential Campaign Council of the All Progressives Congress, and we would like to thank you for helping us to understand all the issues, and then of course the governor and the challenges that actually lie ahead of him as a senatorial candidate too. And thank you so much to Honorable Plang, who joined us earlier on from Jos. Unfortunately, we're unable to do that, and we're meant to actually have Senator Francis Fadaunsi too on the show, but eventually that didn't happen. That's how it's been for this edition of the Arise interview. Do join us again next week from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Goodbye and thank you for watching. I'm Samu Sambu.